Hi, welcome to Rootstem, and in this video I'm going to tell you about the top 5 units I hated in 2019. These are units that I personally didn't like. These are not saying that these particular units are bad or that these units are awful to play against. They're not, they're just one of those units that I find either quite annoying for various different reasons. Some of these units will probably be quite familiar to a lot of people. Some of these units you might sit there and be like, yes, I understand that these units are really, really annoying. Number 5, the Knight Valiant and Knight Castellan. These two units are giant behemoths of the actual game of Warhammer 40k. With a total wound of 28 and a toughness of 8, they are quite hard to bring down, especially if people can increase their invulnerable save to a 4 up. The Knight Valiant especially is quite hard to try and destroy. Normally with knights like this you try and get under what you would call the shield envelope, you would try and charge them, but the Knight Valiant with its conflagration cannon, with the heavy 3d6 auto hit 18-inch range weapon, strength 7 -2, means a lot of units are not going to be able to charge that bad boy without first suffering. Now don't get me wrong, there is ways of doing it. If certain armies like Genestealer Cult can stop Overwatch attacks by using psychic powers, and of course you can always use Howling Banshees to be able to get up to the actual unit without any Overwatch happening to you. But Howling Banshees are not going to hurt it, and unless you're backing yourself up with about 3 some proper super heavy or super combatty units from the Genestealer Cult, such as maybe the Roxor, you're not going to really put much of a dent in this thing. Same goes for the Knight Castellan. You can't really dent it, and then when it fires at you and fires into you, the Plasma Decimator as an example, just a basic one, with the heavy 2d6 shots. Yes, it's only strength 8 and it's -3, so you still get a save if you're wearing power armor. It's still a hell of a lot of shooting that's coming towards you to save that you can pretty much hit on 3s. But then if someone takes House Hawkshroud, then you're going to have to do some serious damage to this particular unit just to be able to even gimp it just a little. Number 4, the Seekers of Slaanesh. This particular unit has plagued me, especially from my opponent Chris, as the Seekers are incredibly fast. 14-inch movement. They can also, if within 6 inches of characters, advance and charge and re-roll the charge. They are an incredible unit that can tie up pretty much anything that I can try and field against them. Chris has used these to great effect, just being able to hit my front lines and pin units down. Even better than using the Fiends of Slaanesh. Fiends, of course, actually got more toughness and more wounds recently, but I find for some reason that the Seekers are just that little bit more annoying. And odd size bases means that they can actually tie up more units than what you really, really want. Number 3, Cadian Infantry. Now, Imperial Guard infantry on its own is not normally a threat. Normally 10 men, quite cheap in points, annoying to get rid of sometimes, but they don't really do much. Stick Cadian Infantry on the actual board, however, with their re-rolls of 1s, and if they're issued an order, that can actually re-roll all hit rolls if they are standing still. This is why these make the list. I cannot count the times that I've come across las cannons and plasma guns that are re-rolling to hit against my new Primaris Space Marines, taking them out with ease, even after the Space Marines got an update in their codex. All you need as well with some of Acadians is just to hang some of Acadian artillery back. You don't even need characters near them to allow you to be able to re-roll those 1s to hit. You start mixing the units up by combining squads as well when they're on the front line and hitting them with relics such as the Laurels of Command from your commander, and next thing you know you're versing 20 men that can re-roll all hit rolls and also re-roll 1 to wound. It's like having Gulliman on the board without even paying the points cost. Number 2, the Leviathan Dreadnought. This model is possibly the bane of my existence in 40k. I hate it. I really, really hate it. And the only other thing that I hate more than this is the one that actually appears at number 1. I can't stand the fact that it has a 4-up invulnerable save, 14 wounds and a toughness of 8. It's annoying. It just refuses to die. They seem to be cropping up in more and more lists, especially Iron Hands and Imperial Fist armies. I know I collect Crimson Fist, but I refuse to take one. They're so overpowered and underpointed. They're annoying. I hate them. I really, really do. The fact that it can also move quite quick, have a massive array of different weapons. Sometimes the only way to really shut them down is to charge them if you've taken a Leviathan that has nothing but ranged weapons. But even then, people will be clever and people will hide them, and it's still hard to try and take the unit out. Topping it off, in Heresy, they're also really, really annoying. And there's a Blood Angel one. I collect Blood Angels in Heresy. I looked at the model. I was tempted. And then again, I played against it. And then I reminded myself why I hate this unit. It just refuses to die. It's underpointed. And it has no place on the battlefield of 40k. And my most hated unit of 2019 is the Repulsor Executioner. The Repulsor Executioner is one of those units that it's just so overpowered and underpointed.
No! Give him 15 attacks on the charge and instant death.
It's so overpowered.
The Heavy Laser Destroyer is one of the weapons that's one of the most irritating I've ever come across. It's very much like there's a version on it on Mechanicus, but at least that's heavy D3. So sometimes it only fires once, and if the repulsor only moves less than half, it gets to fire the main gun twice, meaning that this particular version of the weapon is 4 shots. Strength 10, -4, D6 damage, minimum of 3. Again, stick that into an Imperial Fist or Crimson Fist army, and you're getting a minimum of 4 damage every time you're wounded. Majority of items in the game of 40k, unless you've got an invulnerable save, you are not getting a save against this gun. Stick it with various different things, such as like chapter masters near them. I've seen people taking more than one. You're hard to charge because of the repulsor field, which for some reason no other flyer, only Space Marine flyers, which apparently their technology is not the greatest, yet apparently their flyers have this -2 when you charge them. It's also got machine spirit, so it can move and fire with no penalty. And then, when you're playing against the damn thing, your opponent has to keep looking up the datasheet because it's got another weapon that can fire, and then another weapon that can fire, and then another weapon that can fire. All in all, this particular unit is ruining a lot of the game of 40k. I have seen some people online refusing to play these actual units. Morlock, Warzone Morlock, I think I watched one of his battle reports and he stated that he was refusing to use the Repulsor Executioner because it was so overpowered at the moment. And I don't think it's going to become underpowered. The only way for this thing to become underpowered was to actually have it cost an incredible amount of points. And yes, we do keep changing the points of it. It's still not making it any better. This unit is just, it just ruined. If somebody turned up with 3 of these for a friendly game, then I would just simply not even bother putting my toys on the table. And that's it. That's my top 5 units that I hated in last year, which is 2019. These, I'm hoping I'm not going to come across a lot of these units anymore, or if I do, that Games Workshop is going to sort out some of the points, maybe some of the ways that it plays. The Fiends of Slaanesh I don't come across that often, but I do come across a lot of Cadian Infantry, Knights, repulsors, and leviathans, which is really, really annoying. So if you're going to be going for a friendly game, don't use these units. You're just a dick. Please leave a comment on what units you did not like from 2019. Any new, any old. I've not included any Elder units on here because I am an Elder player, and I think I actually fought Elder once in 2019, maybe twice, against somebody that didn't really have a great range of Elder models. So if you have come across any particular units that I have not mentioned, please leave a comment below just telling me what unit that you didn't like and why, and I will actually make a video on the top 5 units that people that leave comments didn't like. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button if you do want to see more battle reports every Thursday, painting tutorials every Saturday, and I think this year as well I'm going to do a basics. So I'm going to do a basics of painting, basics of maintaining your brushwork, basics of pretty much doing anything regarding painting. I'm trying to keep it nice and easy for a lot of people and simple for a lot of people to do. Maybe then possibly towards the tail end of the year doing an expert session. But thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.